that incident with the fan?
I don't know, bro. Unfortunately, I was leaving out, and then I just felt popcorn on top of my head. And to be blatantly honest, man, this shit is getting out of hand, especially for me. Just the amount of disrespect, the amount of just fans just doing whatever the fuck they want to do. It's out of pocket, man. It's out of pocket, seriously. Like, any other setting, I'm all for the fans enjoying the game and having fun, and it's part of sports. I get it, but there's certain things that cross the line. And any other setting, I know for a fact that fans and they wouldn't come up, and a guy wouldn't come on the street and pour popcorn on my head because he know what happened. A guy wouldn't come up to me and talk mess about my kids or family on the street because the response would be different. In these arenas, you got to start protecting the players, man. We'll see what the NBA does, but there's a huge consequence for us as players, and especially for me. I've been in a lot of incidents where fans they say whatever, and the consequences for me are a lot more detrimental than to those people in the stands because they feel like they're untouchable. They can say what they want. They're at a sporting event where they should enjoy the game. But a lot of times fans don't realize this is our job. This is my job. This is not some play. This is something I love to do. This is something I love competing at. So to get food thrown on top of me, it's just bullshit, really. And if unfortunately, I couldn't get to the stands, but I just don't take that lightly, man. To me, it happens to me a lot of times, and obviously I've learned to kind of look the other way, but after a certain extent, you can't just keep looking the other way. There has to be some penalties or something to put in place where fans can't just come to the games and do and say as they please because they wouldn't do that shit anywhere else, any other setting, and I'm sick and tired of it, honestly.
And you were leaving due to an injury. What can you tell us about how you feel and what you heard?
We'll see. Unfortunately, I twisted my ankle twice in a short amount of time. So, we'll see what happens. Get some treatment, and hopefully I'll be better.
Fred.
Hey, Rob. It's not the first time I've heard you mention that the NBA has to protect the players more. I'm just curious, I don't know if you've given it thought beyond just, obviously ejecting and banning fans who do stuff like that. But what do you think the NBA can do in situations like that in order to make the players safer?
I'm not sure. I don't make the rules, nor do I put them in place. So I'm not sure, but the rules should be put in place where fans come to the game, they know the consequences of what could happen if they are doing certain things or saying certain things that can be disrespectful, or like tonight, just playing out of pocket. There's got to be consequences for it. So hopefully the league does whatever it is that they're supposed to do. But I've been in many incidents where they're not always getting taken care of. So we'll see. If not, it could continue to happen until somebody do something or something changes. So we'll see.
Ava.
You guys have been really good all year in the second half at coming back out of tough situations and everything. With a team as physical as Philadelphia, do first halves or do how you guys start the game, especially on defense, almost matter more, or does it not matter any different?
It matters. The start of the game is important. We gave up 35 points in the first quarter. And teams like this, especially at home, they're really good at home, and you got to make sure you are ready to go. It's tough to beat a team that should, over 60%. Start the game and the halftime. So, it's a series, a playoff series. Not the first time being down 2-0. They did what they're supposed to do. They took care of home court. Now we get a chance to go back in front of our fans and, take one game at a time. And, that's all we can do.
Matt Paris.
Hey, Russ. LeBron tweeted about the popcorn incident. He said, By the way, we as players want to see you threw that popcorn on Russ while he was leaving the game tonight with an injury. There's cameras all over the arenas, so there's no excuse. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, I just kind of and hashtag protect our players. Just kind of wondering what your reaction was to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I just said. I mean, you know, I think as players, and obviously Brian kind of understands, like as players, you gotta be protected somehow. Somehow the protection has to come somewhere, and like I said, any other setting, the fans, they wouldn't do nothing like that. Any other setting that's not protecting them from myself going into the stands, or if there's nothing that's stopping me from getting to that person, that this wouldn't happen. So the protection of the players is very important. I've been emphasizing this since I've been in the league, because for me, you know, I just get a different reaction, obviously, from the crowd for whatever apparent reason. So you know, I really take this very, very personal. And I'm, like I said, I'm tired of the same thing. And because to me, I don't really see nothing changing. It just gets worse. So.
Right. And you guys went months without playing without any fans. So how jarring is it to that to happen when you're not used to even just loud crowd or anything like that?
For me, it always happens to me. Something always, just what it is for me. It's how it goes, unfortunately. But like I said, we'll see what happens. Obviously, nobody can find a fan, but like Bron said, there's a lot of cameras, we can find them. You know, if they want to find them, they'll find them.
Last question of DA.
Hey, Russ, I think the fan was ejected. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they said he was ejected.
Nah, he ran out. He didn't get ejected. They ran. They couldn't find him.
Okay, all right. Had you ever had any problems in Philly before, specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I had problems here before. A fan flicked me off early in maybe a couple years ago here. But I don't know, you know, like I said, as players, and obviously if you're a good player and people want to bash you for whatever reason that is, I don't mind it. I don't mind the trash talk of, you know, whether it's Westbrook suck, Westbrook you can't shoot, Westbrook you can't do that. That's all great. But once you cross the line, you start mentioning family, you start mentioning derogatory things, you start to pour popcorn, all type of shit. Like, to me, it's crossing the line, and that's where it has to stop. Like, the sports and you know, everybody loves the sport and you know, screaming, and that's all great. Keep it sports. I'm okay with that. But once you cross that line, then now I have to you know, protect my well-being, protect my family, protect you know the things that I've worked for. So, but at the same time, I got to be smart, you know, and that's where the protection needs to come in, because I can't go into the stands and you know, because obviously now I will be the one, you know, get the consequences. So the protection has to be at a high rate, especially with fans coming back into the arena. Whether the security they hire, whether it's the security when you walk in on the tunnel, because at some point, you know, as we've seen in years past, you know,